I've realised I've gotten more annoying as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I really tried my hardest not to be annoying, and now I don't really care. And the way I know that is now when my friends tell me stories about annoying guys they've encountered, I don't get angry for them or annoyed for them. I just get jealous of the annoying guy. And the best example of this was a mate of mine last year. Her headphones broke, like the cord snapped on one of the sides of her headphones. And she ordered a guy off Airtasker to come around, and he said he could solder the wire back together. So this guy comes around, she pays him $50. He goes into the kitchen where the headphones are with a little soldering gun, and he tries for 10 minutes, can't do it, messes it up even worse, comes back into the living room where she is, without asking, sees she has a guitar, picks it up, sits down on her couch, starts singing Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. And my friend's telling me this, like, can you believe this annoying guy? And I'm just jealous of the confidence. To advertise a service, take money for the service, fuck up the service, and then sing Wish You Were Here while making eye contact with someone who wishes more than anything that you would die. Bit of a numbers update, we're up to 3. Not too bad, oh yeah. The most annoying I've ever been probably happened last year. Last year I lived with my sister in an apartment, and she was moving overseas, so I needed to find a new place. And I went to some inspections, I started making rental applications, and I found that whole process quite annoying. One of the most annoying things about the rental application process was how many references you need to provide. You often need to provide 3 with every application. You need a reference from your landlord, presumably to prove you're a good tenant, one from your employer, presumably to prove that you have money, and one personal reference to in case the landlord needs emotional support during the tenancy. And so that was all a bit annoying, and I made a few applications, then I got approved for an apartment. I still had 6 weeks before I needed to move out though, and this one was a bit small. I thought maybe I could do better, so I found myself in a unique position where I could mess with a real estate agent. They've screwed me over with the ants and stuff like that before. I'm like, let's have a crack. So I replied to the approval email just saying, could you please send through a reference for the landlord from a previous tenant of theirs? I've proved I'm a good tenant with some references. Let's now see some proof that the landlord is a good person. And the real estate agent responded with this. They said, the owner does not wish to contact the previous tenants, and it is not a requirement. Fair enough. All the best with your property search. I'm like, all the best with the property search. I've been approved for this place. But then, a minute later, I received this, withdrawn. Dear Tom, we've received advice from you indicating your application has been withdrawn. This message is to confirm we've actioned your request. I didn't make any requests, so I think Stephanie, the real estate agent, has logged into the software as me and cancelled my approval. And I remember looking at this being like, oh my God, I thought they'd say no. I didn't think they just immediately cancelled the approval. What if I can't find a new place? I could have really screwed over my life here, but I pushed down my emotions, I composed myself, and I did what you're meant to do in these situations. I posted it on social media. And believe it or not, within 24 hours, there were news stories about this occurrence. The ABC did one, the renter who asked for his landlord's references. Daily Mail got involved. They said Aussie bloke has his rental application shot down. By the way, the first time in my life, and probably the last, that I will ever be referred to as an Aussie bloke. As a bit of a sidebar, a lot of media organisations in Australia, and some overseas, covered this story. The only one to check with me that any of it was real was the ABC. One of the first things they did was email me saying, oh, can you forward the emails that you had with the real estate agent to prove you didn't just make all this up in Photoshop? And I said, sure, and forwarded it through. Every other media organisation that ran with it was like, a comedian said it on TikTok. That sounds like a fact to me, and just... It was on TV. I'm like, I know for a fact none of these people have checked with me. The Daily Mail journalist, I spent an hour talking to a guy from the Daily Mail, 50 minutes of which was him complaining about his current landlord. In the 10 minutes dedicated to me, he was asking me all these really personal questions, which I think they pad out their articles with specific stuff for like search engine optimization purposes. But he was asking me like what my rent was with my sister, what my rent would have been at the apartment that I applied for and then got knocked back from. He asked me what my address was, all this stuff that I wasn't comfortable sharing, but I also didn't want to get into an argument with him. So I just lied. And he printed all of it. So it's not a controversial statement, but don't trust what you read in the Daily Mail. Lad Bible did a story. The lads. The Lad Bible called me a man. Do you know how affirming that is for someone's masculinity? Could be the highlight of the whole thing, to be honest. The Age did a story, and yes, not the best photo. I'm not sure if they were deliberately searching for the one where I looked most like a pervert, but... if they were, they have nailed that. But this is where the language started to change. This one says, Tom Cashman is looking to start a trend that could revolutionise the rental market. Like, I don't know if that was necessarily my intention. I was just bored on a Tuesday and was trying to annoy one specific real estate agent because I could. But this is when I started getting messages calling me a hero. People were saying, you're a David fighting the Goliath. That is the real estate industry. People were messaging me being like, I stand with you in protest. I'm like, I don't know if I stand in protest, but thank you. But in case you were wondering, here's a graph showing people calling you a hero for something you did as a joke over time. As you can see, for the first 5 days, I was like, oh, this is all a bit much. But on day 6, I was like, I am a hero. I remember where I was too. I was at a pub on day 6 talking to a friend, and I found myself saying, if I can convince more people to ask for landlord references, it could become vaguely expected in the marketplace. And if it becomes expected in the marketplace, it could legitimately reduce the power imbalance that exists between tenants and landlords. And he was like, why are you talking like this? Weren't you joking? And I said, yeah, but I think it came to me because I subconsciously sensed injustice. Those are real words that came out of my mouth. Absolutely disgusting stuff.